Out here today with this Nikon AW1 fully waterproof camera. Would have preferred the black version, but yeah. The control scheme is a little different because there's no dials. Of course, with the waterproof nature, it makes sense. There's a button on the back. It uses the tilt on the camera to change some of the settings, which is kind of weird. You can select the focal point on this camera, which is good. Probably the biggest negative is a CX format sensor on there, but finding a waterproof camera that's better than the 102.3 inch is challenging. Nikon with their AW1, I think there was a specifically underwater focus camera from a small brand, but I'm pretty sure they finally can that one too. Using it is pretty much the same as anything else. Use the D-pad to adjust the focal point. Of course, you can have it automatic focus if you want, but in my case, I prefer being able to adjust things. Do have it set in program mode at the moment. Funny thing is that even with this small sensor, it is about the same size as an M50 minus, the viewfinder area. Not sure if this thing has a mechanical shutter because I'm taking photos and it's not making any noise at all, so probably not, but I think there's some type of sound you can have it do. I had that turned off at the moment. Screen brightness, at least on its current setting, is not amazing, but I can still see the screen. Of course, there is no viewfinder on here. It does have a flash, which is kind of different. Let's try it out. Yeah, it works. Interesting thing about this, of course, with the doors, you have two locks. So you have to unlock and then pop it open. Got an old USB port and mini HDMI, which is interesting. I don't think camera companies can say that micro HDMI is worthwhile, because if this can fit a mini HDMI, then I think all of them can. It is too bad there aren't more than two lenses that have the full waterproof casing on them. But this is 11 to 27.5 millimeters. Decent range, it's not a ton. And then of course the prime lens is pretty wide, 10 millimeters plus crop. Overall the handling is not bad. There isn't much of a grip to speak of, but yeah. Overall the body feels pretty good, but there is one little creak right here where the logo is. I don't know if it's just mine, who knows. Okay, about right here for 11 millimeters. It's not too bad. It's got a 27.5. About right here for 27.5. It's also pretty good. I do think this camera has a lot going for it. It's limited in the settings, which that's Nikon's fault. They should have done more with it. But yeah, had they iterated this a few times, probably would be really interesting right now. Would have been nice to have more than two lenses as well. I mean, I guess if there's no market for it, there's no market for it. I don't think I would have paid whatever they were asking for it is probably quite a bit more than $200. We've got AFF, AFS, and manual focus for video, autofocus area mode, auto, single, and subject tracking. I'm gonna do auto area, face priority on, and we'll see how it does with vlogging stuff. And I don't think there's any way to do custom buttons, which makes no sense. That definitely should have been a thing. 11mm Nikon 1 AW1, doing some type of vlogging stuff. Of course, you can't see what's going on with the screen, but it might work. I don't know. I have to look at the crop factor to see exactly how wide this is. Most likely be able to use the other Nikon 1 lenses, but you won't, of course, get the waterproof. So program mode, you can do full manual, which is nice as well. See how that works, but I think this Nikon 1 system was better at the time than pretty much anything for autofocus because it had phase detection on the sensor. Going into settings, going into the menus, you need to do a lot more of that with this camera just because of how it's trying to be as waterproof as possible. I'm not complaining really, it's just how it is. With manual, it takes a little bit more effort, but it's there and it functions. Let's see if it does a selfie thing. Try that real quick. Use the GoPro to see if it's actually working. Overall, it's a really nice package. It does have GPS inside, which I could mess around with eventually. Not gonna do it today because of the one battery thing. You know, there's companies like Ricoh that sell their GR series. They can't be selling that many units. So with something like this, if they kept revising it, kept improving it, maybe giving us some dials with full waterproof, that would be really cool. They could always bring it back, but I feel that's pretty unlikely. Everything is brown these days. I have noticed how on the lens I keep hitting the zoom a little bit for some reason, and it goes slightly off of 11mm. I do really like the battery door situation and the side door. So you have the lock, and then you have the actual lock. So 1-2, same thing for the bottom 1-2. That works nicely. And then the gasket there. I'll have to see if I can buy replacements. Guess what? Feels like it's raining. Unless that's bird crap. I can't tell. If it starts raining, perfect timing. Maybe I should shoot in the middle of the range a little bit. A little bit. I think this might be decent for a one-handed operation. D-pad to adjust the focal point. One negative I do see with the focus system is that the focal area, the smallest possible, is pretty wide. Very similar to the M5, Canon EOS M5, which has a long box. Actually, a little bit of snow left. Completely silent camera, and the autofocus is very quiet because the lens is so sealed. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a few drops of rain, which is perfect timing. Now it's starting to come down a little bit more. I feel like I should stay out longer just because it's raining now. If I ever need to like really go into the water, which I don't plan on it, but at least I can consider using this one. It is older, so I don't know how the seals are, things like that, but it's an option at least. That was a good first test with the Nikon 1. I'm glad that it actually started raining because that was the point of picking up this tool for that job. I do have the M50, but those cameras don't have any rating for water resistance at all, which I've used them a few times in drizzly conditions. They were fine, and then I did use the M50 with that snow, and I had a baggie and stuff, and that worked okay. The camera still functions. Of course, I'll be using this more and more for little photo walks and things like that. But yeah, good to have another tool and tool set for specific conditions like raining and stuff. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video on the Nikon 1 Photography Bonsai. Thanks. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing in the applause feature. All that helps out a lot. See ya.